Welcome back, everyone. I have been looking forward to shooting this video for a while now. So I've had this tool sitting in my toolbox for a few months and I haven't had the chance to use it until today. All right, here's what I've got going on today. I'll be mounting up this fresh set of Dunlop MX3S tires that Rocky Mountain sent over, which, while we're on the subject, Rocky Mountain has the best prices on tires, hands down. And these tires are going onto this beautiful set of wheels that I built in the last video. So the tool I was referring to is the Baja No Pinch tire tool. And like I said, I've been waiting for months to try this thing out. I'm super excited. Here's what Baja provides you with in the kit. We've got the push rod. This is what hooks onto the bead of the tire and pushes it over the rim. And then the lever and 4 different size axles for different size wheel bearings. So the axles slide into the wheel bearings just like the normal axle would. The purple's for the rear, pretty snug fit. And the blue should be for the front. That one fits pretty good as well. So here's a really quick demonstration before I show you the real thing. The lever just screws right onto the axle here, and then I'll slide in the push rod. It's pretty easy to see why this would work so well. We've got a nice big handle for some leverage here, and as you move the handle, it'll push the tire over the rim. Let's give it a shot. Before I get started, gotta make sure I've got the rim locks and rim bands into place. If you don't have rim bands, you can always use duct tape. The wheels are ready to go. Just gonna prep the tires and tubes now. I prefer to start with the tube in the tire, but before I put them in, I'm gonna dump in some baby powder, and that'll prevent the tire and tube from chafing against each other. Got a good amount of baby powder in there. Just gonna roll it around so that way it's spread out evenly. The cool part about it, the baby powder makes the tire changing process smell pretty good. And now I'm just feeding the tube into the tire. I've always found it's a bit easier to mount tires with the tube already in. To get the tube situated inside the tire, I'll add a little bit of pressure to the tube and then pull the valve stem out. Getting it nice and settled inside the tire. That way it's not interfering when I'm trying to put the tire onto the rim. And then pulling out the valve stem ensures that there's no pressure left in the tube. I apologize, I was calling it a stem. So I'm gonna leave the valve stem core out of the tube for the entire process. Let's mount some tires already. So I've got my handy tire changing stand, which is available from Rocky Mountain, link down below. But I'll have to pull out the center axle so that way I can use the Baja tire tool. And as far as the tire mounting lube, I've had good luck with this Niemela stuff. And yeah, it does work on Hondas too. Alright, I'm going to begin with the front wheel and front tire. First thing, I'm going to check to see if the tire is directional. And it looks like it is. We've got an arrow right here pointing the direction of travel is this way. So if I were to mount the tire like this, it would be on backwards. So I'm going to flip it around. First step is to line up the valve stem with the hole on the rim. Gonna have to pull the tube out of the tire a little bit. Oh, almost forgot. There are 2 nuts here on the valve stem, and I'll need to remove one of them. So there should be 1 nut on the inside of the rim and 1 on the outside. So for now, I'm just going to thread this other nut on to keep the tube into place. Then I'm going to do my best to push the tire on by hand. That's about as far as I can get it. I'm getting excited to try out this tool now. I've been playing with this tool a little bit, just trying to get the tension right. It looks like however far the axle is threaded into the handle, that determines the amount of tension put on the gears here. So if you have it threaded in too far, you can see it's pretty stiff, not really wanting to really move much or move freely. And then too loose, and it'll just be sloppy and it'll wear out the gears. So before you use the tool at all, definitely want to make sure the tension is somewhere in the middle there. I'm gonna thread in the axle all the way and go about a half or a 3/4 turn out. See how that is. Feels pretty firm, but not loose to the point where it's gonna wear out the gears. And then to lock it in at that tension, I'm just gonna tighten down the Allen bolt here. It's pretty self-explanatory how this works. Just basically pushing the tire over the rim. Oh, that is so awesome. Super cool. And of course, with any tire mounting, you want to make sure the tube is tucked inside the tire. That way there's no chance of pinching it. But with this thing, the chances of pinching a tube are very slim. What I'm really impressed with so far is the tool doesn't touch the rim at all. So it's not going to scratch up your brand new rims. I've got one side of the tire completely on. Just need to get the rim lock inside of the tire now. And how I'm going to do this is by using a couple tire levers to pull the tire over the rim lock, so that way the rim lock slips inside. And of course, to protect the rim, I've got some rim protectors here. And these just snap onto the edge of the rim like so. Definitely not going to hurt to spray a little bit of lubricant inside here. As soon as I pull the tire over the other edge of the rim lock, I'm just going to push the rim lock up inside the tire. Just like that, and then release the levers. And we're in. So that should be the only labor involved with mounting this tire. Just gonna freshen up here on the lube before I start on this side. So I'm gonna start over here at the valve stem and work my way towards the rim lock. And just to make things go a little bit easier, I'm gonna throw in a bead buddy to hold the tire down while I'm working my way around. And when you're using this tool, you gotta keep it down flush against the hub. That way you get the right angle on the tire. And keep your bead down inside the rim. This will allow for a lot more space over here for mounting. As I'm working my way towards the last little bit here, just continually checking to see that the bead of the tire is down inside the rim, giving me as much room on this side as possible. As with any new tool, there's a bit of a learning process. And on that last push, I went just a little too far and I nicked the rim. But you know what? That's part of it. Nothing a Sharpie can't fix. Good as new. I will not be doing that again. Now I'm gonna pop this valve stem core back in and add some pressure to the tube. Just gonna add enough pressure until the bead seats on the rim. Looks like I've got a seated bead on both sides all the way around. Last step is to set the tire pressure and tighten down the rim lock. On front tires, I like my pressure set at 14 PSI. Oh boy, we're at like 40. So on the valve stem, you definitely want to run a rubber grommet followed up with a valve stem cap. I find that if you have a nut on there tightened all the way down, it'll restrict the tube from moving around and could possibly rip off the valve stem inside the tube. This is the rubber grommet I'm talking about. Just slides right over. And then I've got a sweet little valve stem cap here. Already scraped up. I don't have to worry about scratching that one. And then for the rim lock, I'm gonna replace this ugly looking nut with a red anodized one. And it's always a good idea to apply some anti-seize to the rim locks since these are susceptible to corrosion. Well, the front wheel is all done, and I'd say she looks pretty good. Everything went pretty smoothly, except for that little nick, which is just minor details. Stuff happens. Alright, let's bust out this rear tire. The rear tire definitely went on a lot smoother than the front did. One thing I learned with this tool is you don't want to push the tire over the rim too far. You just want to push it right up to the edge and then it'll slip over the rim. Push it any farther than that and you're just risking scratching the rim. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the Baja No Pinch tire tool. Just like anything else, there is a learning curve to it. It'll take a tire or two to really learn the intricacies of this tool. It does make the process of mounting a tire less labor, and as I get better with it, I'm sure it'll be quicker as well. Definitely got a thumbs up in my book. To check these things out, head over to bajanopinch.com. I'll put the link down below. I'm going to wrap up the video right here. If you enjoyed it, make sure you drop a like or a comment down below. And once again, big thank you to Rocky Mountain and Baja No Pinch Tire Tools for helping out with this video. If you want to see all the parts and tools I use throughout this video, check the links down below. And I want you guys to hang in there. I've got some big plans in the works for the upcoming videos. I will see you all in the next video. Later.